Okay, so we're gonna have to tackle the glimpse of the Rizal course based on this PowerPoint slides. So we have the study outline. So these are the study outline. So we have to define first history, meaning and dimensions, and the nature. Then what are the features of Rizal law? Then the concept of being a hero. Rizal and analysis several well-known historians, his early biographers, then Spain in the Philippines, then what are the contribution of Spanish administration in the Philippines. So let's proceed to the sources of history. So there are two sources of history, the primary sources and secondary sources. So we have the primary sources such as the physical evidences of history, such as old documents, old things, connected to the people or things. Sometimes we call this as the anachronism of the past. Although these are outdated things or objects, but still it has significance to the past. Then we have the secondary sources. So these are the sources which can be primary source, but it touched by the human hands. So we have the published and unpublished materials. Okay, books, diaries, dissertations. So these are the secondary sources. It can be primary sources. It depends if there's no available or primary sources or physical evidences. So what is the meaning and nature of history? So history comes from the Greek word historia, which means an inquiry or investigation. So history deals with the past. So history is a social science. So history is also related to politics, economics, psychology, geography, anthropology, and philosophy. The dimensions of history, so we have placed geographical dimensions. So these are the events and phases, sequence, or consequential. So it can be considered to place geographical, such as the loss of Napoleon Bonaparte to the Russians. So it is placed geographical because of the Russian winter. That is only an example. So in time and chronological dimensions, so these are the time element chronological from pre-Spanish to contemporary period in our history. So let's proceed to the Republic Act number 1425, the features of Rizal law. So these are the features. So the law is already been discussed as well as substantiated by the lawmakers. It was 1950s or post-war era, but these are the main contents of the law. So the study of Rizal fostering nationalism. So it's all about nationalism. It can be 19th century nationalism, 20th century nationalism, or 21st century nationalism. So the inclusion of the study of these major works, Nolimi Tangere and Ercole History, inclusion of his biography, travels, works, and even his failures, that is also part of his life. Then the funding of the law, which was 300,000 pesos for the copies of Noli and Elfili for the public libraries, schools, colleges, universities in the whole archipelago. Then the implementation of the law. So the implementation, the storing the books related to Rizal, especially his works. How about the concept of a hero? Before we start with the biography of Rizal, so why is it that Rizal became a national hero? Or shall we say, they call that as American sponsored hero. So these are the analogies. So Rizal was an ordinary person like us. If this was according to Ambe Campo in his work, Rizal without an overcoat. So Rizal is an ordinary person. Okay, it's not like a superhumans. Okay, as cited by several Rizalian organizations. So being a hero is a casual word bayani as a national hero, that is according to Dictionaryong UP of 2001. So bayani is a richer word as compared to hero. So according to Ambito Campo Inquirer 2018, so it's a richer word, bayani. So the word bayani from bayan, so bayan, Pilipinas, bayan Katagalugan, and so on. While hero is probably hero because you are here, and my hero, that's the concept, the hero for me. That's only my concept, but for the others, I don't know how I cannot grasp their minds about the concept of a hero. Okay, so that's it for my discussion. So the next part will be my shift work. So in 1/4 of yellow pad or 1/2 crosswise yellow pad. So what are your proofs? Why Rizal considered as a national hero? So that's it for my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening.